A lot of people ask me, what's your daily life actually like living in the UK? Is it really that different from America? And the funny thing is, yes and no. On the surface, my days look pretty normal. I wake up, I get ready, I go to work, I come home, I make dinner. But the way that those things happen in the UK versus the US are completely different. So today I'm taking you through a typical day in my life as an American living in the UK and showing you what's actually different. So my morning starts off pretty much the same as it did in the US. I wake up, I get ready, I have breakfast, I pick out an outfit for the day. Nothing shocking there. The difference comes when I step outside. In the UK, I walk to the train station every morning. It's about a 10-minute walk, then I take a 20-minute train into work. By the time my workday actually begins, I've already hit around 2,000 steps. That's before 9 a.m. When I lived in the US, that would have been impossible. I'm from LA, where walking, especially to get from one destination to the other, is pretty much non-existent. So I used to just hop in my car, drive to the office. My job was only 25 miles away, which should be a 30-minute drive in a perfect world, but LA traffic. So in reality, it took over an hour to get to work and sometimes 2 hours to get home. So the biggest difference in the UK, my day starts off with fresh air, movement, zero traffic. In the US, my day started with brake lights. So the UK commute honestly feels like a lifestyle upgrade. Here, public transport is normal, it's reliable for the most part. It's part of the culture and it's integrated into everyday life instead of sitting in bumper to bumper traffic, getting so frustrated and annoying while also having to pay attention 24/7 to start my day. I get to just sit on the train, relax, scroll, read, drink my coffee. I mean, until there are train strikes, delays, or cancellations, but we won't get into that. For the most part, it's a lot less stressful because in LA, the car commute felt like an extra job. Parking, traffic, gas prices, road rage, hours lost every week. It was so draining. Like, my commute home sometimes would take so long that by the time I finally got back, I didn't even want to eat. Honestly, I just wanted to fall asleep, so it kind of just felt like I had no day at all, and I was angry, which is something I really didn't like about myself. But living in the UK, or I guess London specifically, has made me realize that commuting doesn't have to be stressful. Now let's talk about lunchtime. This part is one of my favorite differences between the UK and the US. In the UK, I usually go on a long walk during lunch. I'll bring my food to a park, sit outside, enjoy the weather if it's behaving, and then wander around a bit. Maybe pop into a few shops, grab a coffee, just get some fresh air. It's a nice reset in the middle of the day. But in the US, my office was in the middle of an industrial park. There was nowhere really to walk, nowhere to sit outside, nowhere cute to like grab a coffee or snack, especially within walking distance. So everyone either just stayed inside, ate in the break room, stared at a microwave counting down, or would get in their car and drive to go buy lunch. The idea of taking a walk at lunch wasn't even a thing. And again, this is probably specific to the exact locations of where I worked back in the US and then where I am now in the UK. I'm lucky that I'm right in the middle of a bustling high street and near multiple parks, but you could easily have a job like that in the US if you have the right location. I mean, my brother-in-law lives in New York and his office is right on the Brooklyn Park Promenade, so he spends his lunch breaks walking along the water, enjoying the Manhattan skyline. So it's definitely possible, but it just depends what US city you live in and where exactly your office is, because it may sound like something that's really not that big of a deal, but having the ability to step outside and just be somewhere pleasant during the workday genuinely changes your mood and your entire relationship with your routine. Now the workday is done, so let's talk about the trip home and the grocery habit I never expected to adopt. So in the UK, after work, I take the train back home and I walk from the station. So again, more movement built into my day without even trying. But the biggest UK daily habit I've picked up happens right here. I almost always pop into the grocery store on my way home. Just a quick stop, 5 minutes, grab ingredients for that night's dinner, and honestly, it's become one of my favorite things about living here. It feels simple and fresh and very European. I get to just think about what I want to eat on the train ride home and then grab those few ingredients. So this is where the difference from the US really stands out. In LA, my commute would take so long that stopping at a store was absolutely the last thing that I wanted to do. I'd get home exhausted, starving, and absolutely not in the mood to wander around a grocery store, honestly, even cook in a lot of cases. And even if I did have the energy, I wouldn't just go to the store to buy ingredients for one meal. Americans are weekly shop people. We fill the cart once on the weekend and then we're just kind of set for meals for the week. So you just usually open up the fridge and make something based on the ingredients that you already have, that you bought a few days ago, whether you're in the mood for it or not, to be honest. And I will say that when I first moved to the UK, I thought it was super inconvenient how small the fridges were. I mean, my first apartment was a mini fridge, like an actual mini fridge with no freezer, and I was just in shock. I was so annoyed having to go to the store every day or two. But because you're already walking everywhere, there's usually always at least one store on your way anywhere, so it's really not that inconvenient when you incorporate it into your daily walk that you're already going to be doing anyways. And when you take into consideration how much fresher the food is here, you start to appreciate the fact that you need to go shopping every day or two and can only hold a small amount in your fridge because you know that the quality of the food is just so much better for you. So now it doesn't really feel like a chore for me. It feels like a part of the rhythm of the day that I actually enjoy. Now let's talk about my evenings, which I guess are pretty similar in both countries. In the UK, once I get home, I make dinner using whatever I picked up from the shop, and that's the thing. Dinner in the UK feels calmer. There's no rush, no stress, no I just spent 2 hours in traffic and I'm mentally drained. So back in the US, yes, I would still have to make myself dinner, but usually I was just so annoyed by the traffic and just so drained that I just wanted the quickest, easiest food option, which often led to not so healthy meal choices, unfortunately. But in the UK, my evenings have a slower pace, partly because I'm not spending half of my life on the freeways in traffic, and partly because walking everywhere just kind of gives your day this natural flow. You move more, you breathe more, you're outside more. Your day isn't divided between sitting in office and sitting in a car. So when people ask me what the biggest lifestyle difference between the US and UK is, this is what I tell them. The UK builds movement, fresh air, and little resets into your daily routine without even realizing it. Walking so much really changes everything. That's my main complaint about US living. I'm not anti-US by any means. Some people think that because I left the US and moved to the UK, I hate the US, but I love the US. I just wanted to experience something new and just kind of travel a little bit more, but that is something that I've adapted in all the places I've lived around the world, a love for walking. And in the US, it's really, really hard to keep that lifestyle unless you live in New York City. So that's a typical day in my life in the UK. And as you can see, the biggest differences aren't the most dramatic ones. It's the small things, the walking, the public transport, the easier lunchtime breaks, the fresh groceries, the calmer evenings. It's all these little lifestyle shifts that added together make my day feel completely different from when I lived in the US. Living here hasn't changed what I do every day, but it has totally changed how I do it. And honestly, I kind of love the slower, more walkable, less chaotic version of me that the UK has created. So even if I do end up moving back to the States one day, I want to take these new lifestyle changes and bring them with me because they do make me so much happier and make my life more enjoyable and calm. So now let's take a look at why I left the US and moved to the UK in the first place.